Welcome to today's episode where we are graced by Doug Bello of Unsaid Studio, responsible for the short film Panchita. Panchita is an animated marvel that weaves the enchanting tale of a young girl in South America. Panchita's life takes a magical turn with the discovery of an old VCR player, leading her to the rhythmic world of tap dance, guided by a supernatural friend. This story serves a noble cause supporting the Latin American non-profit Techo and bringing to light the inspiration drawn from a real-life moment of a little girl dancing on the new floor of her new home. So welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about Unsaid Studios? Just as
Yeah,
a...
yeah, of course. So first of all, thanks for doing that with us. It's an honor to be part of that for sure. Um, that's an amazing opportunity for us to like talk about this project and the studio and everything. So thank you guys from Garage Farm also.
It's
And
pleasure is ours.
we are a small to medium studio in New York. We are now 5 years old. We're gonna be 5 years old in March. So, but we are already saying 5 years old. And so the studio started by when I met Tom, my partner, here in
Okay.
New York. We were like both freelancing and doing um, work around, and we met, and then we find out that we were doing basically most of the work inside the studios ourselves, and as a freelancer. And then we said, why don't we just make a studio ourselves? I had some experience back in Brazil where I own a studio called Molho.
Mhm.
I had that, and before I came to New York, I had that studio in Brazil. So I had some experience with freelance. We had some like team of freelancers that used to work with us, and some clients too that I had in Brazil. So we decided to start Unsaid Studio, and then we like just sit around and like try to find the name, all this stuff. And then also a new challenge in New York. Nobody knew what was going to be in New York, how competitive this market is, and everything like that. So it was like uncertainty. And then once we found the name of the studio inside our playlists, musics.
Uh,
Basically a music called Unsaid from Floor. I think is a band called Floor. And I think we thought that it matches perfectly our intentions with the studio, or at least our beginnings, that we were like completely, we were artists, but we are
mhm.
not salesmen, so we don't say many things about ourselves. We just want to show them. We want to show the things. So we have like great work, so we want to show the work, but
Yeah,
we don't say a lot. So we thought that the Unsaid
yeah,
name was a good thing to start
yeah.
this company. Yeah.
I thought it was I think it's a cool name, especially because I think like Panchita, for example, like it's a silent film. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, like there is
Yeah,
some
yeah,
dialogue,
exactly.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that I kind of put that together. Like it's a nice tie into the name, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can communicate things that
Yeah, without saying
without saying
anything.
them,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
exactly. We honestly, I'm talking now, of course, but because we need to, but our mostly strengths are on the visuals, so that's one of the reasons too. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
and
very
especially
cool.
Panchita. Yeah,
So, do you guys normally work with character-driven animated content or?
yeah. I've been working with them since 2000 and very old, like a long time.
All right.
I'm mostly I was like trained as a designer at the beginning, but then right after I went to like animation schools, character animation schools.
Oh, cool.
So from there I start to work with characters all the time. So I've been it's more of a passion, but as we work more into advertisement, we have more work into like products and motion than characters
Mm.
normally.
Yeah.
That's mostly in at the studio was actually Panchita was the second big project that we have. We when we start the company, we get some movies from Walmart that was like character based,
Oh,
tons of
cool.
character based from Walmart. Was good. Was actually on so I'm mixing a lot of subjects. I hope it's okay,
Yeah,
but it's
go for
basically
it.
talking about this. Is like we during the pandemic we actually started the studio right before the pandemic, and then everything was like kind of stopping, and we had the pleasure to get involved with this project from Walmart that was character based. So it was
Mhm.
a project. Normally they do these camps, these summer camps for kids here in New York, in US in general. But the kids normally go to the camps physically. They go there and there's camps. But this
Mhm.
year was the pandemic, so they couldn't do. So they do that like a virtual camp where
Oh,
kids could do like some activities online with the iPhone and stuff. And then we did this campaign for them. We did like some movies with celebrities like LeBron James and like some of
wow.
these. But the characters were 3D characters and not physical. So we
Oh, you
had to
mean
create them in 3D.
they were 3D representations of these celebrities? Like,
Yeah,
oh
exactly,
wow,
exactly.
wow,
Yeah. So they were their voices. They record voices. So there was Drew Barrymore too, and LeBron James and stuff like that.
nice.
So we did all this campaign, like lots of movies for them. Like
Mhm.
I remember, it was 10 movies that we did for them during the pandemic, with character animation. After that, we went back to working with Lowe's and some of these other companies like Google also, but we're more like product based. So we was always like showing products and moving products around the ambience without characters. And then until we got like to Panchita, that was again like a project with character. I personally like love this project. They're my favorites. I always like tend to do more characters and
Yeah,
story based projects. I love them way more than doing uh, the product based ones. But like we are up for both. We are up for anything that comes to the studio.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
How did you guys conceptualize the plot for Panchita? Because I think for me, like, what's really cool about it is it alludes to a very grim reality, but in a very upbeat way. Where
Yeah.
even like simple joys are not accessible to everyone because of, uh, well, in this case, like geographical constraints, right? So, like, I thought it was really cool that the surface was a key. I mean, I don't know if character is the right word, but surface was a key element in the
Yeah, yeah, of
story.
course.
Like, so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool that, like, the sand featured a lot,
Yeah.
in kind of expressing, like, tap dancing, and then the lack of an even surface to do that, and then how it resolves. Um, but I don't
Yeah.
want to. I won't spoil anything. But I just think it like the use of surface was really cool, really clever. Yeah, how did you guys
Yeah.
come up with that?
No, thank you. I think yeah, it was mostly when we have the first drafts of the script.
Mhm.
Um, we were just too sad, like you said. We were just too sad. So was about like the first draft was just because Techo means actually it's Techo that they pronounce it Techo in Spanish. It's like
Mhm.
it means roof in
Oh, yeah,
in
okay.
in Spanish. So the first
I'm
draft
not
was all
Techo.
about roof. Yeah, they touch because they kind of build that techos for people. Like they
Yeah,
build
yeah.
roofs for people. So
Oh
that's
man.
their yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry
the
for
first
the
draft was just
mispronunciation.
like no, it's all good. They were mentioning one of the ideas was like just to do the girl that was obsessed about tattoos. So she was just looking in tattoos and it didn't feel like right. It feel like sad thing. It felt like a sad thing and forced thing
Mm.
to
Yeah.
talk about Techo. Because just to contextualize, the first idea from Techo, when they come to us, they just wanted to create a character, the character Panchita, to post on socials.
Mhm.
Just with a was going to be like a girl talking about like asking for money basically for donations. And he
Yeah.
said I never feels right that, so we came back to them and said, no, let's do a short movie. You guys are up to, can we do a short movie, because the project's so nice and it's so worth it, that
Yeah.
we went and say like, can we do a short movie for you guys? We have like, we, I don't know, the fund, we find ways to get funds, we find ways to get partners, and then we find it. And they were in with the project. The Bruno, that was the CEO at the moment, he was very open to the idea, because he never saw that before in this NGO community, not community, but the NGO in general thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He never saw that before. He said, "No, I never saw a movie like that. Let's do it." He was very excited and said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we came back to the board, like to the script, and say like, let's create a script for them and see how it forces. But if one of the first things when that idea came out, we said like, no, we need to do something soft. Like it needs to be a nice story
Mhm.
that that goes to them, like talks about Techo, of course, but like it needs to be like a nice and fun story for people to watch. Non-force, we don't want anyone like asking for money or being hold or how we suffer or anything like that. No, it
Yeah. No.
needs to be like a more yeah, light subject we want it to be. And then we like one day we come up with this idea of a girl that wanted to basically dance in it, because we always see like girls trying to dance and stuff like that. So it was a very common thing. Little girls, they want to dance. They were like having fun. And then let's say let's find a barrier for that. Let's find like a problem to that. So, and it was like a very like, it was a click situation. Or when you click and say, oh, what about she doesn't have she cannot dance on that floor, and
Yeah.
because the floor is all sand and stuff like that. And then the other thing that also came to us a lot was, but the idea came to us because of the position of one of the volunteers that work with Techo.
Mhm.
And she spoke about this girl that she just, so that girl, the volunteer that was there, she was just building the floor. They were building a new house for this girl.
Mhm.
And then when this girl saw the floor, it was just the floor of the house, and then she came running on the floor and say, mommy, she would start screaming and say, mommy, mommy, we have a floor, we have a floor. And then the volunteer got really emotive about that, because
Yeah.
he said, oh, I never think about like a floor. We have, because for us it's normal to have a floor, we
Yeah.
have a house, we have protection. And for this girl, this little girl, she was like so happy that she had a floor and she
Yeah.
could like jump and dance and do whatever she want. So this was another this helped us a lot with this story.
Yeah.
And then we said, oh, these guys, what about we give it a floor and she needs like to dance, to tap dance in the floor, and the sand that she lived in couldn't like do any noise and anything. And then we at the end we can, oh, spoiler alert, at the end she can she had the her home built, and then she can dance there and tap dance. So that was the click moment, and they say, oh, that's our story, we need to go with that. And
Yeah.
then the screenwriter, um, he came up with the idea of Bojangles. Bojangles
Mhm.
is the spiritual guide of the
Yeah. From the
girl.
VCR. Yeah.
Yeah, from the VCR, and he's actually a guy that was famous in New
Oh,
York
cool.
on the 70s. So it was a kind of homage for this guy.
That
He
explains
was,
the because I think in the beginning, maybe I shouldn't know. I won't go into like the actual scene, but in when like his reveal was really cool also.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it was
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of reflect. And so and I it so that was live footage, wasn't it, of the guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, the amazing click also idea when the screenwriter found this guy, it was that he was always dancing. He was tap dancer guy, but he
Mm-hmm.
was always dancing with Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple, when she was
Yeah.
very young, when she was like also 10, and they tap dance together. So the movies
Oh
were all
wow.
about tap dancing. So and then we connect them and say, "Oh, let's watch them. Let's get her for like finding this
Mm-hmm.
VCR." And then when she watches them, she starts to, because she was used to like dancing already.
Mm-hmm.
But when she tap dancing, she get in love with tap dancing now, and then she wants to be, and then he comes out of the TV and becomes her guy.
Yeah, that was so clever, honestly, because like I mean the rhythmic element of like the percussive element of the tap dancing, like
Yeah,
right, it added so much, like it lent itself really well to the conflict because uh it kind of emphasizes the need for the right surface, and then
yeah,
the spirit guide was a great way to like, again, without any dialogue, um give the necessary information that like he's next to her all the time, and he's kind of
yeah,
like a reminder to us that, you know, this is what's on her mind, or this is her, this is what she is really like thinking about right now, you know, throughout the
yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
experience. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
really wild.
that's yeah. Thank you. There was like the we like that because is kind of a representation of their how Techo can help their lives in general. It's like in a we did like of course kids doesn't think about like, oh, we need a house, we need, you know, they're
Yeah,
used to what they have. So but they need to dance. So we find a way to show that, I need to dance, that she just think
yeah,
about dancing. And at the same moment it's like Tacho can make a house for them to dance, but then the it's a representation of how it does also for old people. Like we just need a place to have like a minimum that gives them the conditions to
right, be able
to
to
go the next,
pursue, yeah, like
yeah,
what,
to
yeah,
pursue life.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, that was, yeah,
yeah,
very
it's
well
kind of
played, very
yeah.
well played.
Thank you. Now you're
That's really
saying
cool.
it makes me happy again.
Oh, well, I
Yeah,
made
that's
it.
good
Yeah,
to hear. That's
it's
really good to hear that. Yeah.
cool. I'm glad. So when you started collaborating with Techo, was there a like a timeline or a time constraint that you needed to be able to complete this production?
Not exactly. We knew, no, not exactly. We knew that when we first spoke, that they were almost doing like, I think they were doing like 15 years or 20 years of, they have like
I don't know.
a Tacho's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to finish before that,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't have exactly a timeline. Then we knew it
Just
was
the
gonna be a
event.
long thing. Yeah, we
Yeah.
knew that event, and we wanted to finish during these 20 years event, but we didn't have exactly timeline. We started to build everything, and, and also we didn't have a lot of money, so
Mm-hmm.
we needed to like find ways to finish that, and that's one of the ways. Also, we went after partners for
Yeah.
the to to be able to finish that, for sure. Without the partners, we wouldn't be able to finish that. For of course, like we had good intentions, and we have a lot of like strength to keep doing it because it's a lengthy. We took almost 2 years to do the movie, so
Oh wow.
yeah. Normally we could do it quicker with resources and everything, but was from beginning, like from starting without the story and like developing the story, developing the characters, developing the scenario, and then going to production. To production was 2 years, but
Wow.
uh, So it was a lot of effort to keep going and like
Yeah,
changing the team, even changing the team during the, the periods. But we didn't have exactly timeline. No, we were just trying to do as quick as we could, during
that's really cool.
the
So it was
yeah,
really just the anniversary event. Yeah,
yeah,
because I think a lot of well, maybe a lot of uh, at least our listeners. I'm not really
yeah,
sure if a lot is like the best quantifier,
uh-huh,
but the people who listen anyway, like I'm assuming at least some of them are are 3D filmmakers as well, and I think um, the there's a lot that goes in for sure to producing an animated short film. Um, and I mean, it's natural for production to stretch out like that. Um, I I think based on at least our experience dealing with our clients, also. I mean, the render farm. So I was wondering if you could explain like what sort of what the processes are that contribute to it stretching out, and or basically what led you guys to look for a render farm service to help with the rendering. Like what are the like what does the pipeline look like? How did a render farm become essential, I guess, to this
yes, yes, completely essential. And so, as you say, the things tend to stretch a lot. Also because sometimes because of like changes on the script, last minute changes, and mostly because of that. Because also like directing is really a crazy
yeah,
moment and you have to do a lot of decisions that you're never 100% sure. And be honestly, is you're never 100% sure of your decision. I'm at least not, because like there are decisions that changes everything. I feel that you're building um, like a puzzle all the time, and if you change one piece on the puzzle, you have to start again, because everything is like a
right,
cascade thing.
yeah,
And so the things stretch, and then when we had a timeline, when we had the deadline goal that we needed to deliver, and we have our resources, and we have that we needed to render and then decide on scenes, because you always need to render low quality, put in the whole thing, see how is
oh,
it going, and then render again low quality, and then you need to test a lot. So that
right,
was an essential moment, and then I got in touch with guys from like Garage Farm, because I heard that I was like I of course we had a lot of friends that work in the area, and then I think we used, and these friends, they used to work a lot with Garage Farm, and they said, "Oh, go to these guys because it's the best one. That's it for
yes,
now." Yeah, no, exactly. Everybody was saying that, and I personally didn't know because we didn't have this kind of project before. So there was why we didn't use before. But then they said that, "Oh, go talk to them," and then I sent an email for Oksana, and
mhm,
and then they were really friendly, and then we spoke one day. I explained the project for them on one morning, and they were like, they jumping immediately because they knew how nice was the project, and they understand the value for these guys, for Techo, for everyone,
yeah,
and for us to like to be able to finish this movie. And then yeah, and then our experience was like 100% amazing.
oh,
I
that's
keep talking to
great
them.
to hear.
I always like, we of course we use render files before in the past, especially in Brazil and the beginning of the computing, and it was always a hustle like to you upload a file, had problem, like you have to re-render again. And this movie especially, we were using Cinema 4D, and Cinema 4D is not made for animation, for this kind of
Mhm,
animation, character animation. It gives you like a lot of problems, especially on X refs. It's what you call when
Uh,
you have a rig outside and you have
right.
to to bring it in. And also we were using Houdini to do the sand, and we were using alembics, and then we were using like the scenes from other
Oh,
sources and the smoke from other sources.
yeah. Oh, so
And
like caches, yeah, like alembic caches.
yeah, it's
Ah,
caches, and
oh, I see
also
now.
you have to build, yeah, it caches, and also you. So we have one scene that was the assembly, that was the scary scene. So where we get every part of the project and put it together,
Yeah,
and then you put that together to start to render. Then all the lights are there, all the simulations, caches, all the everything, alembics and everything. And then by so the first time I saw that scene, and then I said, okay, let's send it to Garage Farm and see what happens. I was sure that was going to like break everything, because it's not even directly in your computer these things were
yeah.
rendering easily. So my surprise was I used the send to farm there, the button. I don't remember the name, but the thing like just send to farm,
Yeah.
just the I don't know the name. Can you remember? I don't know exactly the name of
Render
the
beaver?
tool. Yeah,
Render
Render Beamer,
beaver.
exactly.
Yeah.
Render Beamer. I enter Render Beamer, install on Cinema 4D, click on send, just hoping everything was. And for my surprise, everything came perfectly, perfect.
Awesome. Awesome.
Everything there.
Yeah.
And and from there, every scene after that, we had like 50 scenes at least on the scene. 50 shots. And then after that, every scene after that came perfectly. It
Awesome.
was amazing. We never experienced something like that. That was like everything worked, just worked the way it was intended.
Yeah.
I think I have one scene that has a little problem,
Hmm.
but I think, and then was my fault. I find out was something that I didn't add to I was not synced on Dropbox or something like that. But other than
Right.
that, was amazing. Like and especially I catch that mistake because we were doing always like we would render 10 frames every 10 frames,
Hmm.
and then we were putting there, and then everything always came like perfect, and then we just said, okay, render everything now. And the speed was amazing too. I had like, it was not, yeah, well, I was not going to be able to deliver that movie in any way if we render in our, we have like a small farm
Hmm.
with some computers, but was not like, not even comparable. Like when we did that, yeah, it was like overnight we sent like 10, 15 scenes overnight, and in the morning they were done, and then I was just like comping them already on After Effects and everything.
Oh, that's
So
really great.
it was an amazing experience. Like I never in my life, I have like more than 20 years of working with 3D, and I never experienced such a smooth like
Oh,
render.
that's
Well, honestly, I'm not being like, I'm
no,
just
no.
being honest.
Thank you. Yeah,
It's like was amazing, 100%. Like,
that's really
yeah,
satisfying to hear. No, because like
yeah,
I mean, I used to work for, I used to help with sort of testing for automation and helping support and things like that. And
yeah,
those guys are insane. Like they like it's
yeah.
really because like
Genius,
yeah, like
genius.
because we really, I mean, I think like it like the daily grind is really like testing testing every software support the breaking point. Like so,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, so we get the standard. We can link standard assets, textures, and other like standard dependencies. But then yeah, it's always like, yeah, but what about this? What about this? Like what about Alembic caches? What if somebody needs Alembic caches? Or, so yeah, I mean, yeah, kudos to the
yeah.
automation team. Those dudes
It
are
was everywhere. Everything. We just clicked there. It was a button, just a click a button, and with a software that was not ideal for that. I still think, because everybody, like even the animator, has some problems because we need to find animators that are willing to work on Cinema 4D.
Mhm.
Everybody just do Maya, and they're used to Maya, and
Yeah.
like sometimes Blender now, but
Mhm.
um, we were using Cinema 4D because also Maxon was one of our sponsors on the
Oh, right.
our one of their partners, and
Right.
Maxon provided Redshift and Cinema 4D for us.
So
And
GPU
yeah,
rendering, yeah.
GPU rendering all the
Awesome,
time. Yeah,
awesome.
that's another thing because it was crazy the GPU memory that we needed for all the
Yeah.
sand, all the elements and everything, and they
Yeah, it
worked
was
smoothly.
I
Right?
was really wondering about that. So it was sand itself in the Alembic cache from Houdini?
Yes,
Oh
from
wow.
Houdini. Yeah. So
So
we did
sweet.
the animation in Cinema 4D, the character
Yeah.
animation, and then we send the character animation to Houdini to calculate the collisions and everything.
Mm,
And then in Houdini, we bring it back just the points of the sands, and then we
mm,
bring it back. And then I think was through Redshift, Redshift. I don't remember the name of it. One of the things that you get the geo and attach to the points from Houdini, and then it
oh, cool.
renders as a geometry. Yeah.
You mean like it has like uh there's a bridge directly to Houdini, or is it some universal
No,
format?
you know it's Alembic. Yeah, you need to you export Alembic, and then
Mm-hmm.
you
You
just
link the Alembic
attach
to
to the
the
points. Yeah,
right to the
the
point.
Alembic
Oh,
to the geo. Yeah,
cool,
because
cool.
it was like all small, actually small sand grains,
Yeah, yeah,
actually geo. So we had to attach that. So imagine all that. Then you just set render on a GPU render, and then you say, "Oh, that's not gonna work." But then magically, I don't know, the genius guys on Garage Farm made it just work like easily. It was easily.
yeah.
Was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's great.
amazing experience for her.
I hope some of those guys are like listen to this. You hear that, fellas? Good job.
Yeah, yeah, was really. No, I always recommend Garage Farm after that because I say like you wanna have no worries about you just have your work done. Just you work with these guys like Garage Farm is yeah
Oh well,
the best
thank you.
experience I ever had. Like honestly, like easily.
Well, that's really great to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but I mean, one thing like I think one thing cinema did really well, like C4D did really well, for the short was the the aesthetics, like the shape design,
yes,
uh,
yeah,
the colors, like the yeah, everything was really like nice, clean reads for every
yeah,
frame, and I mean, even the sand, it was really cool that like the sand was right, like they
yeah.
weren't
More
like
graphic, right? Yeah,
yeah,
graphic.
yeah,
Yeah,
very really cool, really
yeah.
cool.
That was one thing that we decided in like the beginning of the project when we were trying scenarios to work with the character basically. We had the character before we started with the character, not with the scenario at the same time. We were kind of like crazy timeline, or crazy way of doing that. We should have worked with the things before, but we know like lots of mistakes that happen now. But I'm not. I don't have a problem with that because I see documentaries of Pixar and stuff like that. They all do this crazy stuff also. So it's not
Yeah,
because we are small that we do the mistakes. No, everybody does. Like so it's part of every kind of job.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but when we decide the scenario, we were seeing tons of movies that were just we were doing what most people do that just go to normal objects
Uh-huh.
on the scenario with normal shading like real shading.
Uh-huh.
Just sometimes you just exaggerate a little bit the shading and have textures everywhere, and at one point we decided to go in this more work
Graphic.
it's a more graphic way, but was more was a little more work intensive because we needed to decide on every object that was there. It was not just copying
Oh,
real life. We need to
right,
design
right,
an
yeah,
object for that life, for that kind of
yeah,
that
that's true.
aesthetics. Yeah, we didn't go the easy way. I would say that it's not easy. Of course, I'm just not making fun of it. No, I'm
No,
not
no, no,
making
no.
talking bad about anything. But we went the harder way. I think that when you
Yeah,
have to design every piece of of the
Right.
scenario and in a it's like stylized way. I would say
Yeah,
that in
yeah.
that style, in a more. And then we also, the other rule that we wanted to have is not having textures, not using textures anywhere. We try to make the amount of objects work as textures. You know, like
Right.
you have a simple house, you have like a wall. Instead of putting a wall texture on the wall, we just put stuff there. We just put like I don't know, like lots of objects and small like
Yeah.
things. So they make it feel the texture. You know, make it feel that has a texture, but it doesn't have. Everything is like smooth.
No,
Only
that's a
the only textures that we have on there are on their clothes. I think
hmm
on Panchita clothes.
Yeah.
And but other than that, are just clean shapes. That's one
Wow.
of the ideas that we have. Yeah, they're basically clean
Wow.
object with shapes.
That's a
So the
cool
modeler have to work a lot. The
no,
design team had to work a lot.
but
Yeah,
that's a really cool approach because then I mean, so because well, first of all, like it again, like everything reads so well.
yeah,
It doesn't feel like no frame feels like there's too much like space lying around. And
yeah,
I think actually, yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of a pitfall also um with 3D, uh, like going the photoreal because you can go like for that super filmic approach, but then yeah, I have noticed that like the more stylized approaches actually um, are sparse with because you want the shape, you want the bigger shapes to read, right? So you don't like it actually like having too much texture detail or some in some cases any texture detail
yeah,
on the assets can actually make it a little too busy. So
yeah.
yeah, and
It's
it's
true. Yeah,
optimized too, right? Like I mean, because I
uh-huh.
think like that means
Yeah,
less maps, no maps,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Almost no
faster
maps.
renders.
Only for her clothes and some of the clothes of the characters, but no maps for everything.
Wow.
And yeah, it was kind of different from like because the Pixar way is always texture everything and every detail, which is amazing too. But well, a lot of people were going that route, and we wanted that to be a little bit more unique, the movie. So we went
Oh
that we said like maybe that can help us to like differentiate also and have a one aesthetic that we could like own, you know, almost own, like do it
yeah.
our aesthetic that we could try. So yeah, we had an amazing team, like also my partner Tom, and we have that girl Kat from uh, from outside because it was a very worldwide intensive project too. Everybody from all the world, a lot of people from a lot of places in the world work together. We work all online, like on this thing all
Oh
the time.
wow. Yeah. So
Everything was online through Dropbox, basically.
wow. I
Our
guess that's
main
what
server was Dropbox. Yeah,
wild.
yeah. It was like more than 30 people, well, animators and everyone working through Dropbox. And so this team of like the art direct people, they were really helpful on that thing. Yeah, this guy from Brazil also, Andre, he find a really good aesthetic with the house because we had a problem. Like one of the problems is like we were talking about favelas and these ugly places, let's say that way, or not being, but like they were like
No, this way.
non-aesthetic pleasing way
Mhm.
places. And we didn't want to do a movie with like very ugly places and stuff. So he find a way to show um non-ideal house, like a broken house, a poor house with in a nice way. He find a way to make it look both. It's like it's
Yeah.
pleasing to look at it, but you know that's wrong. You know, it's not an ideal
Yeah.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly. I mean, because you feel the impact, like you know, like it's very clear, like the conflict is very clear, and then you
yeah,
you get the sense of, well, I yeah, personally, it really struck me that like, I guess because it's also it like the focus is in something like something we take for granted, yeah, like a floor on the,
Yeah,
and the absence of that, and how it gets in the way of like some somebody just wanting to tap dance. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It
that
was one
that
of
was
the.
just wow. How that plot was put together is just
Oh, no, yeah,
that
that's good.
was
Thank you.
really
Thank you for
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah, for
a
sure.
lot of help. Yeah, and especially like yeah, we really enjoy that because it's so nice to help someone. You know, like
Yeah,
was another thing that drive us through the thing because we knew we were not just doing. Of course, doing a movie is already like a really nice thing, but when you have like you're doing a movie to help people and it's another drive that doesn't let you stop. You know, they say,
yeah,
oh, you have such a nice story, such nice people that you can help. It can make a little difference if you make like. That's one thing that I always say to the everybody that was part of the project is like, if this movie help us build one house, one new house for people that need a new house, it's done. You know, you don't need anything else. That's all we need for
yeah,
that. And one house, imagine one family having a house because of this movie, we are done. That our mission is like complete. We don't need anything else. Like that's basically it. So we had this drive to help us a lot, and yeah, this helped a lot too because of the length of the project. Like I said, it's hard to keep going in two
yeah.
years and like keep everybody motivated. So that drive make the things easy, you know.
God, that's
was
awesome. And I imagine
yeah,
that's 2 years having to juggle also like your normal clients or other clients.
yeah, for
So
sure, for sure. We
that's
had to,
yeah,
yeah, we had
the
to survive
willpower
too.
to yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Well, I know.
have to go through this stuff, but was good. It was a good experience for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's well, okay. So you said uh your team is assembled like from all over the world and you guys collaborate remotely, right? So how does
yeah.
that work for uh like does is like do the assets just go to like a one department somewhere that assembles everything inside of Cinema 4D and then uploads it to the render farm, or because like even transferring um like C4D project files in Dropbox to somebody else, I imagine
Yeah.
there'd be problems like relinking things.
Yes. That was one thing that we had to find out from the beginning of the project. We had to like develop folders. You know, we have like three or
uh
four meetings about folders first.
yeah,
Folders and how to
the
because
project
also
structure. Yeah.
yeah, project structure was a huge thing, and I'm glad it worked well because we really put some effort at the beginning. A project this size we could a project this size we couldn't just like do it.
Yeah.
We had to think about it because also another project like Dropbox, we had to have like some sections for the people working. For example, animators.
Hmm.
They they couldn't we couldn't like give all the folders for them. We have to have a section for animation for them just to work with animation and the rig. They just have access to the rig, the
Hmm.
animation, and some proxy of the scenario to know what they're doing. And then they could work with that part. But we couldn't load too much. We couldn't have like too much megabytes there because they would be like crazy for them to sync every time. So
Yeah.
that was one thing that was the structure was basically we have in
Mhm.
we'll have pre-production, production, and post in like a large scale. That was the folder
Mhm.
structure, and inside production we have the animation and the rigs and the scenario also. But then divided between departments. When we say departments, is one person doing more
Oh
things,
wow. Okay.
like that. Yeah, it was not possible to have. We didn't have like a huge team for the assembly and this stuff. We had more people to animate. I think the
Yeah,
biggest
I'm
department was
sure.
the animation. Yeah, but the others were just two or three people tops,
Yeah.
and. But the idea was that we had like some parts of with the scenario, some parts with the animation, And then we had this other file that was the assembly where we put
Mhm.
everything together, combined with the Houdini stuff and post also. And then
Wow.
with this file, was not a team, was one person or two maximum.
Mhm.
We put like the everything together and light the scene on the final assembly.
Right. Yeah.
So we brought the character animation, we brought the scenarios, and then we built the lighting, and then we sent you this to the render farm.
Right.
But there was not, yeah, we had to like on the XREF stuff, we had to agree on a place that everything was,
Yeah.
and it worked kind of well from Dropbox because we used like non when you use that non-direct sync, when you use like the dot slash
Right.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Like I
Yeah.
don't know the name of that, and so it linked well. It linked well that way. But we had some machines that had to have the whole project. Some machines that had to have the whole project downloaded, and people with individual parts only. But one at one moment. So it worked surprisingly well. Also, Dropbox was worked surprisingly well for everything, for to work with
Yeah.
people. No, nobody was together. No, we didn't have like we have an office here in New York, but nobody was here. Like basically nobody from the movie was here. Everybody
Yeah.
outside. Yeah,
That's cool. But
yeah,
then
it
how
was
would you
fun.
guys like oh, but I guess and then you'd just have like calls then, like
Yeah,
for
we had
developing
daily
story or
calls. Yeah, we had another partner that was Sync Sketch that worked with us that was essential too. You know, Sync Sketch is this review software
oh
that you
wow.
upload the movie and then you can. So the animators did their shots on their own hours, and then they
Mhm.
upload to Sync Sketch, and I went there and could review
Oh
together with the
cool.
animator, and then we review there, and they say, oh, okay, go there, that way, and then there was daily things, and also we have, I think, Notion. Notion was also part of the structure for the production, so the producers could go to Notion
Mhm.
and help with everything and see what's done, what's next, who's doing what. You know, like Notion was our structure for the production, basically.
Mhm.
So we have all the scenes, the shots, and the stages, like first animation, when it's done, you know, the common
Yeah.
crazy stuff. And yeah, and then it was like yeah, that's why it was basically software based, you know, that thing, a lot of software
Yeah.
helping us everywhere. Like Garage Farm was amazing. Then Dropbox worked well. Sync Sketch also was one of the partners that worked really well. And Cinema 4D also working. Yeah, I talked to the guys a lot of times, like, we need to fix these XREFs. They don't listen to me that much,
Yeah.
but I told them, because I think Cinema 4D is basically a design and motion design software on top. Like
Mhm.
for example, I think 95% of the users use MoGraph
Would
and
Bogra,
motion
yeah.
graphics. Yeah, so they don't care too much about the character and
The
everything. It's
character
getting better
animation
and better,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
it's not the main. I think they're not. It's not
Yeah.
their main objectives to the software. So they're doing an amazing job now to like building new tools. They're competing really strongly with Houdini, especially with people that doesn't want to go crazy in Houdini
Mhm.
and
Oh, like
learn how to build softwares. You know, basically in
yeah,
Houdini.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the new simulation stuff that they're doing with the smoke and new like and clothing and general things that people used to go to Houdini to do,
Mhm.
they can do now in Sim4D. So
Oh wow.
they didn't get to the character yet, to the character parts yet too much, as much as they do the others. You know?
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
so how
we
does
really like it.
well how does
Uh-huh.
that work? But you mentioned earlier, so but the characters were rigged within Cinema 4D and animated there, or oh,
Yes, yeah, that was the challenge. We have a really good rigger that rigs in Cinema 4D, a very technical guy, Rodrigo, and he did all the rig inside Cinema 4D, and it's very like the rigs are very capable of anything. Like they don't lose anything from Maya or anything else.
Yeah.
They and some moments they are even better than Maya rigs, and the rigs can the possibilities you can do with the rigs they're even better than Maya.
Wow.
But yeah, they're really good, and some the only part that you lose is on the animation part. The animation part, I think Maya has better tools yet for animators,
Mhm.
and the XREFs is also one thing that they need to fix on Cinema 4D still. But they do. We did everything inside Cinema 4D. The animation, the rigs, the renders. The only thing we went outside was the sand because they didn't have it. But if it was now, we could have used the Cinema 4D now because now they have a very good, very solid um, collision system and like
Oh, wow.
almost a particle system. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, we
that's
could have
cool.
used now. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are evolving a lot.
Because I think, like, didn't they, I'm not sure, but didn't they merge with uh, the company
They,
that made like Turbulence FD and,
No, I don't think they did. I think they
oh,
developed
okay.
their own system. Yeah, they developed
Oh,
a
okay,
really
okay.
good, but it's very similar to Turbulence. But I don't know if they merge. I don't think so
Yeah,
because
I'm not sure either. So
yeah,
nobody
no,
quote me on that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. I think they developed their own particle and smoke system there. And
Cool.
what they did is they bought Redshift as
Mm,
a render, which
yeah.
I think was amazing for us who use Cinema 4D because it's an amazing render.
Yeah.
Uh, and they bought ZBrush now. They bought
Oh,
ZBrush,
yeah.
which is
That,
crazy move.
yeah.
And
That
nobody
was
was expecting that, I think. And then they
yeah.
did like a ZBrush stuff, and it's
You know
good.
what? Yeah, that caused a bit of a commotion, like online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people were really crazy not liking that too. But
Yeah.
for us, for cinema, for the users, was a very good move because they brought the remesh from ZBrush, which was
Oh,
amazing. It's
right.
an
Yeah.
amazing remesh. You can throw anything on that remesh and it makes your geometry perfect again. So you can
Awesome.
use voxels to build anything and then it does. Yeah, so lots of good things for
Yeah.
for us. It was a
Does it
commotion from this.
does it also come with
Yeah.
like the guides? Like, because like how in ZBrush you can use like you can draw paths that act as like topology guide.
It does, it does, it
It
does, it does, it
does?
does. Yeah,
Wow.
it does. So
Wow.
you can
That's
use you can do like a model and then you can put some guides for it to follow. Like
crazy.
use some
All inside of
some
cinema now.
all inside of
Oh,
cinema, yeah.
man.
And they also what they are really good. These guys at Maxon, they are really, really, really good. Is to simplify tools for
Yeah.
artists to
Yeah.
use. They
Yeah.
are amazing on that because I know Houdini guys and everything, but the Houdini guys they need to know a lot of like nodes and stuff and specificity inside the nodes and to things. I use Houdini too, but when I go back to Cinema 4D, it's such a breeze to use. Like everything is there for you, unless you need to do something really crazy,
Yeah.
it's bad because then it's more locked the tool. But normally you do really nice things with easy in Cinema 4D. That's the strength of these guys. They bring, for example, the Z remesher from ZBrush, and it's
Um,
like a two-click thing. You just have like
wow.
you choose how much topology do you want, how much quads do you want, and then you
One.
also have a field there just to put the lines,
Oh,
how you
cool.
want them to follow the things, and also they are symmetrical. They could be symmetrical in X, in Z.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
it's really easy, really easy. Yeah, that's their really strength.
Wow.
But it's inside, yeah, it's inside C4D. Yeah, it's good.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Well, I think um that's gonna be it for this episode. We're like
yeah.
5 minutes away from our 1 hour mark. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but oh no, sorry. The last thing I wanted to mention was
Uh-huh.
congratulations. You guys won an award, right? Panchita had won,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, like one, but I like that was quite a. I'm not sure if like it's changed, if there have been more awards since then.
Yeah, we got finalists inside kind of like eight or nine, and then we
Wow.
won two or three awards. It was with the movie. It was good. It was a good thing. We didn't get that. The awards were nice, but the thing is like most of the most of the what's the name of these uh I don't know the name. Forgot it. Like what gives you the awards? What's the name of the thing? Like
Film, I don't know.
the festivals,
Oh, the
the film
festivals. Okay,
festival.
yeah.
Most of the film festivals, they don't. They go to like very uh, new things. Because I'm gonna say like Panchita is a very classic movie. It's kind of built in a classic way. It's like a
Mm,
storyline with
yeah,
an intention for. It's also for kids to understand that and everything.
yeah.
And the festivals, they go after new things. They go after like more experimental things.
Okay.
So we didn't get the big ones, also because of that. And they tend to go to like more experimental, crazy stuff and crazy characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
yeah, but even though we got some awards, that was really nice, and it helped us. Yeah, it helped us. And and right now, we just this week we got to 50,000 views on YouTube now.
Awesome.
We got to like from
Congratulations.
it's good because it's like it's growing, and that was the intention from the beginning. It was to like
Right.
Techo's
Exactly.
name, to get Techo's name around, and so it's been there. So I think at least 50,000 people new people have heard of the
Yeah,
name of Techo, and like maybe may helping or may donate and help their cause. So that's good. So we
yeah,
see if everything that we do now, like all these interviews, and also like it could help them more to get more views and
for sure.
more people. Yeah,
And it is
to
amazing. I
help.
think like community infrastructure is like like that's a huge service.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. If they
But
get more known, they can help more people. I think that's that.
yeah,
That's a mission.
well, here's to hoping that that happens.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, thanks again, Doug, for
Yeah,
stopping by. It was, yeah, it was a great chat.
of
Congratulations
course.
again, and yeah, for everyone listening, check out the film. Where can they find it, by the way? Other than like,
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's
mhm,
open on YouTube. I can give you the link. You can put in the on the chat. But it's
yeah,
basically if you search for Techo, Techo,
right,
Panchita, Pancheta, on YouTube, you're gonna see it like Techo Panchita. Techo Panchita, it appears there, so you can look, or we can give you the link,
yeah.
and then you
Oh,
guys link it down.
if it's from the Techo account, yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen it.
yeah.
I'd have to,
It's not the Techo, it's another. It's a Techo on YouTube. I don't think it's inside their main channel. It's
oh, okay.
another channel. It's called Techo Panchita, only for the movie
Oh, yes,
Panchita.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah, that's the one.
super cool. So, do you guys have any like are there plans for like developing Panchita more? Like maybe like are they like this? Is she still going to be a social media presence for that show, or
Yeah, right
maybe more
now
animations in
it's
the
kind
future?
of right now we don't have any plans. That we had like actually I would mention that we had the the marketing directors of Techo was Anna Testa. She just passed away like 2 weeks ago because she
Oh,
had
I'm sorry
cancer.
to
So
hear
it's a
that.
sad thing. Yeah, we are really sorry, and everything was really like everybody was sad, and she was an amazing person, and she helped a lot with Panchita, help us with everything. and she passed away. So far we're not like we don't have plans for the future on Panchita, but I think it's a strong piece too, and enough to like try new stuff. I would like love to maybe talk to I don't know, one of these streamers, also like Netflix and this guy on Hulu, and
Yeah,
make it into a series, or we could do that. We don't have plans right now, but it's not out of our mind completely. You know, we want that to be more. We know that can be more, and we can do something with that
that's
for
cool.
sure. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, okay. So, yeah, I've taken up too much of your time already. So for
No,
real,
no, yeah.
no, uh, but yeah. Okay. So, I think we'll end it there. So thanks again for dropping by, and yeah, this was great.
Uh-huh.
So till next time.
No, yeah. Thank you guys so much for helping also, and especially Gutter Farm
Absolutely,
and everybody. That was
absolutely.
amazing and experience, and thank you for that too.
Thanks for the kind words. We really we're like, I think I speak for like all of us. Yeah, like we're really happy you guys had a like a an easy time with it, and that it helped,
Yes,
like that it worked without any
totally.
problems. So yeah. All right. So
All
yeah,
right.
see you, dog. Thanks again.
Thank you. See you. Thank you.